Hi, good afternoon. Happy Thursday, Florida Panthers fans. Welcome back to another episode of Five on the Ice. I'm David Eversole and joined, of course, by Alex Baumgartner, our lead Panthers reporter, covering the team after a pretty crazy scheduling start to the season. We've got a little lull in the action before the Panthers return to the ice in Finland for a back-to-back set this weekend versus Dallas. So we're going to recap what's been happening around the team over the last week or so. Panthers have started the season with 7 out of their first 11 games away from home, and currently sit on top of the Atlantic Division with a record of 7-3-1. So I want to bring you up to speed on the latest around the team. So, Alex, what's the big storyline with the Panthers leading into this trip overseas to Finland, with the team having won 3 straight on the road?
Yeah, so they got the triple sweep over in New York State. The big news is obviously Captain Alexander Barkov made his return in that final game of the 3-leg road trip in Buffalo. Actually got 2 points, including a goal. Panthers went 5-2-1 without their captain, and they head to Finland. They're in Finland now, in his hometown of Tampere, and they're going to play 2 games against the Dallas Stars in the Global Series. So the Panthers not only survive the Barkov-less and somewhat Tkachuk-less streak of games, they did very good in them, and now they have their full team back healthy as they hit these 2 games in Finland before returning home for a while.
Yeah, it's been a crazy schedule for the defending champs after that rough 1-2 start with obviously Barkov and Kachuk both being injured early in the season. The Panthers have really rebounded well, getting solid play across the board, obviously, with the 2 Sams leading the way, and Spencer and Bobrovsky for a little bit of time with each. So tell us a little about what you think of the goalie play early so far, keeping the Panthers struggle early.
Yeah, so I mean, at least from what I heard, I think you mentioned the goaltending. So yeah, Sergei Bobrovsky, he moved into a tie for 13th all time with Chris Osgood, excuse me, an NHL all time with 401. His next win will give him lone spot in 12th place. He becomes just the 14th goaltender in NHL history to win 400 games. 10 of those 14 are in the Hall of Fame, with Marc-Andre Fleury and Bobrovsky being the 2 active ones that aren't in the Hall of Fame right now, and they will make that 12 very soon. So their goaltending play has been good from Sergei. And then Spencer Knight, he comes back to the NHL after spending all of last season in the A, and he's had some good performances, gave up a couple early goals against the Islanders, but then shut the door. Panthers scored 6 unanswered, and Knight picks up another win. I thought he was spectacular in that, I believe it was that Columbus game in the 3rd period. They were just shelling him, and he was stopping everything he saw. So it's good to have Knight back, getting some games under his feet. He's looking pretty good. Obviously, Sergei, we know what he can do when it comes to playoff time. Panthers are first place in their division right now, so there's really no complaints. They did it without their captain. They did it without Kachuk. Sam Reinhart has been keeping up with what he did last year. He looks really good. And Sam Bennett in a contract year, he looks like the best offensive talent on the team right now. So everything's clicking for the Panthers. I think we're 11 games into the season right now.
Yeah, it's nice to have Spencer Knight back in the mix. Obviously, give Bobrovsky a little bit of relief early in the season. These long playoff runs the last 2 years, he's had a lot of tread on those tires. So it's good to have Knight back for a lot of reasons, obviously, psychologically as well. For him, great to see him having some success on the ice. So after this 2-game trip overseas, the Panthers are going to be off for another 4 days, and then they're going to return to the Amerant Bank Center for a nice 5-game homestand. So looking ahead to that, any of those games in that next upcoming leg at home stand out to you?
Yeah, well, the last time the Panthers had their homestand, they hit all Western Conference teams, which was very interesting. So you have Nashville coming to town. I mean, they're a Western Conference team, but they play the Panthers all the time in the preseason and the rookie showcase. So they're almost as Eastern Conference of a Western Conference team the Panthers will get all season. And then you have Philly, New Jersey in 2 games in Sunrise, which makes not a lot of sense. The Devils are here for a couple days, not a home and away. It's a just 2 home games in Sunrise. And then the Winnipeg Jets, who are the hottest team in hockey right now at the tail end of that. And the Panthers could not beat the Jets last season, and the Jets have only suffered 1 loss this year. So that's probably the game I'm looking most forward to see how they match up against Winnipeg. These Western Conference teams, the Panthers don't really do amazing against all the time. They struggled against Minnesota. They got the point against Vancouver, then they beat Vegas in overtime. So, you lose to a Western Conference opponent in the regular season. There's really not too much to harp on, but I am interested to see how they match up against the Winnipeg Jets. So that's the one that I have circled.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of local fans have maybe not even seen Winnipeg live. It's not a team that really makes it out here very often. Obviously, with that Stanley Cup Finals against Edmonton, we got to know them really well. So it's good to see some of these other teams that fans may not be as familiar with get some action here in Sunrise. So direction of the team is good right now. They're relatively healthy. They got Barkov back obviously a few days ago, and he had a great performance against the Sabres. So the team is relatively healthy, and hopefully they can at least get a split in these 2 games in Finland, come home, rest up for a couple days, and then with these 5 games at home, continue to build on the momentum because they've really played well on the road. So hopefully the jet lag doesn't catch up to them too much in these early first couple games when they return to Sunrise. So any other news or breaking tidbits we have leading up to the game over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 Finns on the Panthers and 3 on the Dallas Stars. Florida has a league high 4 Finnish players on the active roster. Tomo Ruutu, an assistant coach for the Panthers, also Finnish, actually played in the 2010 Global Series with Carolina when Paul Maurice was his head coach in Finland. So that's interesting. Dmitry Kulikov, he's playing in his 3rd Finnish Global Series, made his NHL debut in 2009 with the Panthers in Helsinki. Then in 2018, he played against the Panthers with the Paul Maurice Winnipeg Jets. And yeah, I mean, Anton Lundell, Eetu Luosterainen, Nico Mikkola, the other 3 Finns not named Barkov on the Panthers, playing their first NHL games in their home country. So I'm excited. I do wish I was in Finland, but couldn't take 8 days off to eat that much salmon soup, which looks spectacular, by the way. But yeah, get the split. Both teams are happy. Rope Hintz is from Tampere too, so it's going to be very fun to watch. Make sure you're up at like 1 p.m. because I think that's when the Friday game starts.
Yeah, different start times. So make sure to check your local listings and everything for coverage. And we're going to be back next week to get you guys prepared for the Panthers' upcoming homestand. And make sure to follow Alex at abaumgartner91 for all breaking news surrounding the Florida Panthers. And I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you next week.